Good afternoon, this is Nicholas from Gandora Gaming, and I bring you all my Trickstar deck profile 2022 post Banlist, and this is going to be a treat for y'all. Trickstars is one of those decks I've hated for a very long time. It's one of those top 10 most hated decks I've ever had to deal with in the competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Trickstars, for all those who don't know, is a light fairy archetype that is evil. Everything about this deck is evil, and luckily for us, it hasn't been meta for a very long time. So, Trickstars was a deck that didn't die for a very long time. It kept coming back, and eventually just got power crept, and that's where it is right now. And one big part of the Trickstar power crept is that their field spell went to 1, Trickstar Light Stage, which was a huge hit for the archetype. This deck was one of the best control decks in its time, and it was one of the best burn decks as its time. It had a really nasty draw and lock loop where they activate reincarnation, rip your entire hand, activate draw and lock bird, and then you're draw and locked. Or after they'll activate draw, and then after that resolves, they'll activate reincarnation, thus you banish your hand and then you don't draw, which is really, really stupid. And I think it's one of the most powerful locks in Yu-Gi-Oh! That still exists. And I think it's more consistent now than ever, even before Light Stage was hit. Now, honestly, Trickstars, the only way to make this deck competitive is if you draw and lock them and then beat them up. My personal opinion. I feel like as a control deck, this deck doesn't have the teeth that all the other control decks do. Yes, it can still play all the floodgates, but Trickstars as a whole aren't offering a lot. Their whole deck came out during the Vrains era, so a lot of their monsters are links. And honestly, the links are bad. A lot of them are bad. I have a whole bunch of them right here. I'll show you real quick. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm not playing them, but I had them in my deck for a very long time. So Trickstars come with a lot of bad links. They have Crimson Heart, Holly Angel, Trickstar Diverneris, Belmanon, Foxglove Witch. Let's see, is there any other ones? Oh, and Bloom. I believe that's all of them. I could be wrong. There could be more that exist. I just don't know. There's a lot of Trickstar links, and no one plays them because they're all not that great, and I have a really hard to actually summon themselves. So basically, all these cards do are link climbs to help burn your opponent even more, but they don't burn your opponent enough in order to win the game. It's like really, really cheap, gimmicky cards, and honestly, I think you do without all of these, every single one of them. And that's what my build is going to show you, and I can't wait to get started. So let's go start into the main deck. First things first, we play 3 Korrabane. Korrabane is a great extender and is one of the best Trickstars we ever got. So if you control no monsters, or all monsters you control are Trickstar, you can special summon this card from your hand. So it's a free, level 5, free extender, great card. And then when your Trickstar monster battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to grave. That card gains attack equal to its attack until the end of the turn. So it's honest for the archetype. A very powerful card, really good extender to help you link climb, and overall just a really good card. It's 2,000 attack, 1,000 defense, really powerful card. Next we play the main starter, the Rhoda of the archetype, 3 Candina. Candina is essential for this deck. Candina basically says, hey, when I am normal summon, you can add any Trickstar card from your deck to your hand. And then each time a spell or trap is activated, inflict 200 damage to your opponent. For next Trickstar, we play 1 Licorice. Now, this used to be a mandatory 3 of when Trickstars were meta. This card is one of the reasons why I hate Trickstars, to be honest. 1, it's really good. So, it has quick effect. You reveal this card in your hand, then target a Trickstar monster you control, accept the Licorice, and basically return to hand and special summon this one. And every time your opponent adds a card from your deck to your hand, inflict 200 damage. Now, that's actually really, really powerful. So the reason why Licorice is so good is because if they try to bother your Candina, You can activate Licorice as a quick effect in hand, bounce the Candina, summon the Licorice, and they'll miss it. So they try to imperm Candina, you can just chain block and just get away from it, which is very, very powerful. It basically says, hey, they're trying to negate this, bounce your ass back to hand, summon out a Licorice, it misses. Really, really good effect. Also, the fact that you can summon multiple of these and then burn your opponent for a ridiculous amount of life points is evil. Really, really annoying card. And personally, I'm happy that a deck can no longer burn as well. So, in older formats, this deck took a couple turns to kill you. This is one of those control decks that it burned you and then hit you with direct damage and then burn you some more and then hit you with some direct damage. And also floodgate the shit out of you. Played all the floodgates in the world. It was a very annoying deck. But luckily, it's not too slow nowadays to actually pose a threat, that version of it at least. The only way to me to make this deck good is by still playing Trickstars, but going for the draw and lock combo, which means you have to open a hand of a way to get to draw and a way to get to reincarnation, because those two cards equals the lock, which will literally make your opponent quit because it's such a powerful combo. Next, you play one Trickstar Lilybell. This is also a very annoying card, but it's also very powerful. So it's the last Trickstar. This card's added from your hand to the hand, except by drawing it. You can special summon this card from your hand, which is great. So you can add it off Candina or the field spell. Once it's added, it's special summon itself, which is really, really good. Spite's been using Lilybell as a level 2 and been playing the field spell as a really cool engine in Splite because of the Toad hit. I like it. It's a really cool card, and at least it's not like making the Orcus play. So the real reason why Light Stage was ever hit was because Light Stage equaled a free Orcus Mermaid, which was really, really stupid at the time. And then they hit Mermaid and then never brought back Light Stage. So Konami kind of fucked up there. They could have just gave back Light Stage, but they're like, nah, it needs to stay at 1, even though they banned the card and made it broken. And I never understood why. Next, for the last 3 combo cards. Now, this is going to sound weird. You're just going to have to go with me here. But I like this in the deck, and you're just going to deal with it, okay? 3 Tour Guide of the Underworld. Now, you're probably wondering, why on God's name are you playing 3 Tour Guide in the Underworld? This is not Burning Abyss. Well, the reason why is because we're also playing 3 Sangan. Now, you're probably wondering, good God, why are we playing 3 Sangan and 3 Tour Guide? Well, it's a little engine I'm trying out. You can tell me in the comments if it's bad or not. But the whole reason is that Sangan searches Droll. So the idea is that you normal summon Tour Guide, you get Sangan, then you link them off for 2 very, really good link cards in the form of Secure Garna and Salamandrade's Almirage? Yeah, Almirage. And the idea is that you basically get the draw and lock combo, because all you need is a trap trick or a way to ultimately get to that trap card. It's very easy to get to the trap compared to Droll. So to me, this is just another way to get to Droll. Not to mention, it gives you rank 3 plays and also gives you more link plays to help link climb. It's free, 2 materials, fun free. It searches from deck. I personally like it. It was better when what's it called? There was a card. I'm just trying to think. It was banned now. Verte was still legal because you could still make Dragoon, which was the only time this deck was actually pretty decent after they hit, because they at least make Dragoon pretty easy, and Dragoon's just a good card. Now we talk about the hand traps, which we're only playing 1. This is our last monster. 3 Droll. Now, I know this is the most optical list. I know. You're probably saying, why are you not playing 3 Licorice? Why are you playing Tour Guide? Why are you playing Sangan? You should be playing cards like Hand Traps or Eater of Millions, because the old decks used to play Eater of Millions, or more floodgates like Rivalry and things like that. Well, that's all up to you. I kind of just want to draw and lock someone. This is kind of a gimmicky deck, to be honest. If you want Trickstars to be viable, I feel like this is the way to go. Because let's say you go for the control version of this deck, which this deck is already kind of control. But let's say you go for the control version of this deck, like how it used to be played. Well, personally, you're losing. You're just playing a worse control deck than 20 other control decks. I even think Crawler is a better control deck than Trickstar. No joke. I feel like that new Crawler dude literally makes it better than Trickstars as a control deck. And if you go for the burn option, that's not even that good because you barely burn opponents. Rarely have you ever killed someone with the burn in one turn. And Trickstar, it usually took multiple turns to burn someone out of the game. Well, how are you going to burn them in 2022 when turns end on turn 3 or turn 2? It's not going to happen. Yu-Gi Oh's too fast for a burn deck like Trickstar to do anything. That's just my personal opinion. That is it for the monsters. And now we'll go on to the spells. Alright, so now it's time for the cards you want to see most of all. 3 Light Stage. We got the card. This card's amazing. We used to have to play the retrain of Light Stage, the Overfield spell, which I believe is like a big heart card. And that card was decent. But again, it helped you facilitate the links, which are the Trickstar links. And the Trickstar links are bad. So personally, we don't play that card. We just play 3 Light Stage. Light Stage is stupid. When this card is activated, you can add any Trickstar monster from your deck to your hand. And then you can target one card once a turn that your opponent controls that is set face down. They can't activate that card until the end turn. And if they don't activate it during the end phase, it blows it up, which is really, really strong. A very powerful card. Really, really great card for removal and really, really good against back row decks. That's why Splite's playing it, because it's just a really good way to lock out cards. Really, really good. Next, we're playing the one terraforming to get to our Trickstar Light Stage, the one call by, because call by is amazing. We're also playing Festival. Now, this is the bait. It's one of the only holdovers from the original profile I had in this deck. Festival summons out 2 Trickstar tokens, so it helps you climb into the Trickstar links, which honestly I still own them. They're still in my extra deck, but honestly, if you want, you can probably switch them out for like a Boral Sword, Axis Code, a Selene, all the really good cards that say "screw you" in modern day. But I still like this card as a cool link climb. It gives you 2 tokens. They're level 1, 0 attack, 0 defense. And then if you control a Trickstar monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, and it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card instead, which is a really, really cool effect. The only issue is that, like I said, the links are kind of bad. We still play the links, but it's alright. Next, you play 3 Reincarnation, because this is the heart and soul of the deck. You want to get to this card as much as possible in order to Reincarnation lock them. Basically, this card says banish your opponent's entire hand, and then they draw the same amount, and then you can banish this card from your graveyard to reborn a Trickstar monster, which is really, really good. It helps you block cards when you're trying to push for game. It also just rips out their hand, and this plus Droll is the greatest thing that Konami has ever done. At least when it comes to trolliness. Except Rongo. I still think that's the worst card ever made. But next is just kind of filler cards. Well, this isn't filler. We have 3 Trap Trick, which is always great. But now we go on to the kind of filler cards. Kind of control-y, kind of really decent. Torrential is always good, so we're playing a control deck. We kind of just need to fill out space. There's not really anything else to say about that. We just need to fill out space for the deck. And these are really good control cards. 3 Crackdown, because Crackdown's a really strong, powerful card. And then finally 3 Solemn Strike, because Solemn Strike, you pay 15, negate a monster, and you just help you push your game. Really powerful card, and the life point cost doesn't matter, because you're going to be pushing for game with your powerful links. That is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy. You're probably wondering, where's the extra deck? Well, I kind of already showed you it. It was the links. If I was really committed to this deck, like I said, you can play Selene, you can play Boral Sword, you can play Appaloosa, you can play all these cards. But again, this deck needs a lot. Even though Trickstar is back at 3, I still feel like as a control deck, this deck isn't there. All the links kind of suck. And what I mean by they suck is that they don't really do anything. Like, for example, one of the best link ones draws your opponent a card in order to burn them. That's all it does. It makes your opponent draw one to burn them for like 200 damage. How stupid can you be? How is that good? Now you probably say, "Oh, that burns a lot," but no. If you really want to burn someone, you can look at my Masquerade list and play Masquerade. Now you're probably wondering, well, why aren't you playing Curse Dark Room or whatever? That's a card I used to play in Trickstar, where every time you inflict damage to your opponent, you inflict an additional like 300 damage. Well, even with that card, you're still not killing your opponent with burn that turn. You might get them down to half their life points, maybe even like 75% of their life points, but they're just going to break your board and kill you. That's a fact. Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't really give a shit about burn unless it's like really burn. Like that's why the Masquerade deck is kind of really good, because you made 3 Masquerades, you only get 4 effects, and then they're dead. So personally, that's what I'd say. I hope you all enjoyed the Trickstar deck profile. Take care. Don't do anything stupid. See ya.